from somebody we know who's questioning. He's listened to some of the podcasts and he knows us socially. And so he's got some questions in. So the first one is, you claim that your ethics and worldview are deeply rooted in compassion because you are anti-suffering and believe the compassionate thing to do is to avoid bringing new life into the world. Yet your attitude towards people who don't get your point of view is that they are retards and evil. How does that square up?
Yeah, it's compassion for the unborn. People don't seem to understand this. It's compassion for the unborn. It's just simply efficiency as well based. It's compassion for the unborn. Why bring a child into this existence when they're not already here? The ones that are here now, they have to behave efficiently. What's the point of interfacing with people that don't get this idea? What's the point of it? It's like talking to a Jehovah's Witness. There's no point in engaging with the social witness, Jehovah's Witness. There's no point. You realize quickly there's no point. They're entrenched. They're not going to stand down. It's impossible. They've got their position. Their position is antithetical to yours. You're trying to convince them of something passionately. They've got their passionate position as well. So what's the point? There's too much friction. You've got finite life here. You've got to decide how you're going to use your life. I don't want friction. I don't choose friction. Compassion for sure. Compassion for those with like mind. That's it. It doesn't extend beyond that with me personally. Other people will extend it, then their whole life is caught up with entertaining people of unlike mind, having discussions, trying to convince them for the rest of their life, going around doing missionary work. I'm not interested in that. I've got time for all of that business. That's it. I've just got time to promote the message, my passion, the one that I believe in, my truth. I promote that only. That's it. I've got finite life. What can you do? You can't extend it infinitely without loads of friction. If you take on the whole world, you'll find you'll get nowhere. You can't. You have to cut it off. Circle of concern, I think, Stephen Covey.
Circle of influence.
Circle of influence and circle of concern. Circle of concern first. Then you look at what you can influence. That's it. And then you draw the circle there. Why did he say that? Because he knows you've got finite life. You have to schedule your time. You see, you bring those into your circle of influence, the ones you can influence. That's why he said that. That's the most efficient way to proceed with your life. You have a circle of those people that you can influence. You build a community with those people. The ones outside of your circle of influence, you have to acknowledge that very quickly, that they're not going to come into your circle of influence. So therefore, there's no need for them to be in there. They're draining resources if they're in there. Simple. Very simple. What? What's not compassionate about that? The fact that I'm not including those who are not sympathetic to my idea. I should include those, should I? I should waste resources talking endlessly with those people. No, I'm not going to. Circle of influence, as Covey said. He was talking about efficiency within business as well. You see, you can't waste your resources. Look at it as a business, your life, as a company. How would you run it? You see, if the company's compassionate to everybody, they don't make any profit. Nothing is made. Zero. They'll be losing all their resources, pandering to everybody. They've got to first find out if people are on the same page as them by interviewing them. Are they up with the party line? Are they prepared to align themselves with the company's policies? If they are, then there'd be an asset to the company and it would run along smoothly, everything. The operations would be smooth. If not, you're introducing people that will actually upset the corporation, upset your functioning. So it's not intelligent to do that, to extend all your compassion to everybody.
What about the accusation that he says here that you look around and you might, or certainly me, call people evil when they just don't know what they're doing?
You can call them ill then instead of evil. Replace evil with ill. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. It's still a terrible thing you're doing. You're bringing a child into an existence. It's not asking for that existence, and you've got one on board already. So it's ignorant, it's evil, or ill. Choose your poison, whichever one you want. See?
Right. So the next thing he writes in the email is, you also understand that at the heart of the meaning of existence is simply a force of nature that wants to replicate itself for the sake of its own survival, and no higher purpose than that. You say that DNA is very smart, in inverted commas, in that it has created a complex web of desire for penises and vaginas, and a whole culture and society that is geared towards reproduction, heartlessly disregarding the emotional costs to humans who thus spend lots of time suffering before meeting their inevitable end, and that you two and other anti-natalists have seen through the DNA conspiracy to trap us in a never-ending loop of misery to serve their ends of mindless reproduction. You both brought kids into the world. You're both victims of DNA's game, yet you are unforgiving of anyone who hasn't been enlightened to the game as you have. You have deep contempt for natalists, whether or not they've had the chance to consider the ethics of reproduction or not. Right? This contempt completely lacks compassion. One second. Which is not only inconsistent with the very basis of your worldview, but is also enormously alienating, rendering any possible chance of your ideas taking root somewhere close to zero.
That's wrong on so many levels. I'm personally not saying DNA smart. I'm saying it's a program. It's a program. It's hijacked their minds and sentience or lack of in human beings. So we're made of this stuff, the program. It's running within us. So it uses all the apparatus of a human being to further its purpose, which is survival. That's what life's all about, survival. Have a look at Hubbard's work, Ron Hubbard. He came to the same conclusion with his Scientology, his Dianetics thing. When asked what the whole purpose of life was, he said survive. That's it. And it is, when examined. Have a look at it. It's just a program running. We have overcome that program. As Jesus said in the Bible, I've overcome the world. What did he mean? He had seen through the world. He'd seen through the program. That's it. You use counterintelligence, you go against your own grain, you come to the same conclusion. That's all. Now, this contempt for others, no, I don't have contempt for others that have not been told. Once they've been informed and they've got the information, they can go along and examine that. If they don't examine, and they come back and you see no examination has taken place, they're not interested. Like most people, they're not interested. They're just, like I said, Jehovah's Witness. You tell a Jehovah's Witness your point of view, they're not interested. It bounces off. Now what? What are you going to do? Again and again and again you talk together. They're not interested. They've rejected the information. Now I have contempt. Not contempt, but I just won't deal with them. It's contempt for sure, but it shows up as I'm not going to deal with those people anymore. It's a waste of my time. That's the contempt. The contempt. It shows up as it's a waste of my time. That's how I think. I let them carry on with what you're up to. Very good. But what's it got to do with me? What's their life got to do with me? Why should I include that person in my life and my scheme of things? The only inclusion is to give them the information, which is on the podcast. They can listen to the podcast over and 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 over again in their own time without wasting my time. Why do I need to avail them of my physical time? Why? When I've got other things to do. Simply that. Why is it being interpreted as contempt? Why? You've got it. The information is out there. It's on the podcast. You can watch that over and over and over and over and over again without coming to the person's space. Why are you coming to the person's space when you've got the stuff there? That should be over, this malarkey of actually coming to the person's space anymore when you've got the information. That's the whole thing with this AI thing, the movement and everything. YouTube, it's the best university on the planet. You've got access to all the specialists in every field. Why would you want to see them personally? What for? They've got things to do. They've given you that. They've given you all the information online. Use that resource. And what it really is the person wants to see you. The person wants your time, like vampires. They want your time. What for? What for? To debate with you in person? No, you can debate with yourself by listening to the podcast and think it through. Keep going back and forward. Create a dialectic with yourself in the podcast. There we go. The assertion has been made. You write it down. Take your notes. Oh, I don't agree with that. That's not a good point. What for? Why do you want to see the person to do that? It's a waste of the person's time. The person has come to their position already. It's solid. It's not going to change.
That brings me to the next one, which he says, you say you are interested only in truth, but is there such a thing as truth to be discussed? But if there is such a thing as truth, to be discussed, my understanding is that it tends to be elusive and getting to truth is a never-ending project. But you seem to have stopped exploring, stopped questioning yourselves, stuck in this certainty that you are right and have found truth.
That's right. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. That is possible. Why is it not possible? I'd turn the question round. Why is it not possible to find truth? Maybe it's lazy thinking. Someone else asserted this on a video I was watching. They said, why not? I think it was Leo Guru. Yeah, it was Leo Guru. Leo Guru, he said the same thing. Why are you assuming that it's not possible to reach a position of truth? Why? What is in your mind, the program running, that leads you to believe that? Why? Because for you, it's not possible. And you deny the truth that we're positing. That's what it is, those two things. For you, it's not possible, and you're denying the truth that we posit. Without shooting it down, mind you. No one's been able to shoot it down, the position of anti-natalism. No one. No one. Everyone's come forward. All the top so-called thinkers in the world have come forward to try and shoot it down. They can't. You can't shoot it down because it's impossible to shoot down. What reason would you possibly have for bringing a child here? What reason is there that stands up? What reason would you have when you've all... It's ridiculous. You see, the other way around is ridiculous. What reason would
you see what's going on here? You see what's going on here is he's trying to sort of derail what we're saying by... This is I don't know how to describe it. No. No, because he's saying that you're interested. He's bringing in this whole idea, which itself is problematic. But the truth is elusive, and it's an ongoing journey. And there is some truth to that, right? There is some truth to that. But hold on. But we're asking. No, but basically you're asking the question. That's it. You just with this whole situation, and especially when I go and speak in Speaker's Corner, or when I go and speak on the street, or speak to someone about it, right? It's not about debate. There's no debate to have because there's nothing to debate. We're asking a question. A question. Why would you do that? Why would you start a new life, given all the other things that need to be done with your energy and time, right? And given all the things that can go wrong, and given the seriousness of starting somebody else's life without consent, why would you do it? This is not a matter of true or false, right? I'm not making an assertion, which you could argue with if you really wanted to, that it is wrong. I know you are, but I'm saying if you put it in, yes, but I'm saying if you put it in a question form, then they can't even start to go off on a whole tangent about truth or not truth.
They've got their truths as to why they should have a child.
Well, then let's hear what they are. Let's hear what they are. Because nobody's given me a good reason.
Because that's what we've been doing all the time. It's natural.
Yeah, exactly. Well, then when they come up with those, they can be eviscerated, right? But what he's doing here is is sidestepping the question, which is just answer the question. Is there an answer to the question? There isn't. End of. And that's the end of it, right? It's not about this is the truth. For me, it's not about this is the truth. I'm not even going down there. It's about standing solid, asking a question. What the hell are you doing? What are you doing bringing more people here? Are you crazy? Yes, you are.
They say no,
unless
they've got the equipment to.
Yeah,
so
great.
Nature can't be
so
wrong.
I can.
That's another answer.
Yeah.
Nature can't be wrong.
Thank you.
Or else we wouldn't have testes and there wouldn't be ovaries in existence. So how is that untrue to use your equipment that you've been given by God or by nature? So nature and God must be true. It must be the truth. No, it has to be examined. Nature is not the truth. Have a look at the evidence on the ground. That's why I stand strong. I've examined life and nature and what it's up to. And it doesn't, from an ethical point
in
of
fact,
view,
nature is the ultimate. Nature is the ultimate liar, right?
So.
Nature uses all sorts of trickery
and devices,
yeah,
in order to keep the game going.
Correct.
That's
sex.
What it's about.
That's what sex is.
Survival.
Yeah.
As Hubbard said rightly. What's the game of life about? Survive. But it's not about that from an ethical point of view. So it's an ethical truth that you should not bring children into existence. An ethical truth, which is human. We represent ethics on the earth. Animals don't represent ethics. So if you want to be a human being, then you don't have a child. You don't bring one in. When you examine life, it's unethical to do so.
Okay.
That's my
Okay, here's another one. Here's another point that he's made, right? You walk around judging everyone. there's a whole air of superiority to it.
Yeah.
I'm suspicious of this, looking down on people, blaming them, being angry with them.
Why?
And then he says, well, does free will exist? Aren't we really just a bunch of automatons being run by desires, which are in turn driven by chemicals in our brain and now by algorithms? So why all this anger and contempt?
Because influence is possible. Influence is possible. No matter what program is running, influence is possible. It's not impossible. It's not hardwired. People have listened to the information and they make a decision. That's it. They can come to a different decision. That's why people change. Why do people change? Why do they change? Because beliefs change. They have a belief, it drives their behavior. Someone introduces an exogenous belief and it changes their behavior. Change is possible.
Okay, that answers the free will, but it doesn't answer what his accusation.
The arrogance.
Yeah.
The arrogance is what I said before. It's not arrogance. It's nothing to do with that. It's your position. And you're wasting resources dealing with someone with the opposite position. You're locking horns with them. There's friction involved. And if you want to smooth that off and achieve maximum efficiency, you would eliminate those people from your game. Your game. That's all. Circle of influence. Covey said it. It's there. Have a look at any business manual or efficiency manual. They'll tell you that. There must be confluence between the people in your group, or else there's friction. It could be worse, in fact. They could completely derail the whole thing, whatever you're up to. All of it. They could kill you, in fact. It's happened to people. They've not screened out people that have got resistance to the idea being put forward, and they've ended up killing them. They're so offended and upset and passionate about defending their own position, they've killed the person because that person should have been rooted out. In fact, look at the Jesus story. Look at it. He assembled some people around him. He didn't do due diligence in screening them. One of them, Judas, was allowed to come close. What was the end result of that? There we go. Maybe I could rest my case there. I'm not prepared to have a Judas in my midst. So you must confirm that the person is in confluence with you, in alignment. That's wise to do so. See?
And also he says,
have a look
you
at the
walk
story.
around judging everyone as if that's a bad thing. But
that's why I said, what's wrong with that? What's wrong? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
It's very important. If you didn't go around
critical
judging,
thinking. Yeah. Critical thinking, it means that.
Yeah.
That's what it means. Judgment, discernment. What? What's wrong with that? You have to discern when it comes to food. You have to judge when it comes to clothing, food, everything we're doing. We have to make an informed decision, a judgment on the thing, whether it suits you or not. What about the house, where you live, what country? You have to make judgments all the time. Life is about judgments. It's coming to a situation it's conducive for your health based on judgment. You have to make judgments all the time. You have to be discerning about things. Perspicacious, as I said before. That's clear seeing. You have to see. There's always a decision to be made between things that suit you or not. There's people who've got allergies. They have to judge the peanut not to be acceptable to eat. The person who's got the peanut allergy. They have to judge and say, no.
Don't judge them.
No, don't judge. Then the other person says,
what have you got against peanuts?
What have you got against peanuts? You're being so hateful towards peanuts. Because the thing will kill me. That's why.
Okay, here's the next question. Why are you so animated by this whole anti-natalism thing anyway? Why do you care about it so much? Life may be beautiful or it may be ugly, but you will die, we will, all will, and DNA will continue probably for quite a while beyond our passing. It is what it is. Why all the fuss?
No, it's not the fuss, it's the compassion. That's what he said earlier. That what he sees as fuss and why are we so passionate is actually compassion. That's it. We just would like to save people from suffering coming into this game. They're already in suffering, for sure. They're already here suffering. But we would like to save those that are innocent. They've not come in. They've done nothing wrong. They've been brought in by their parents who see it as a good thing to bring them in as playthings. There's no other reason but that when you analyze it properly. When you examine it, the whole urge, as I've said in many podcasts before, there's no reason. It's not reasonable. It's an animal urge. That's why we're so passionate about it, because it saves further suffering down the line. Those innocents that are not in existence at the moment, or they're just non-entities, they will be brought in. They will be brought into the firing line of the whole game. What for? What's the reason? No reason.
The next thing he says is he's a friend of ours, and he says, you want me to commit to anti-natalism? No, he's saying to me. He's saying to me. He's saying to me, right? Why is that so important to you?
No, I'm not.
Okay, fine.
It's not important to me.
Fine.
I don't care. I'm not looking for numbers to swell any coat or anything. I'm not looking for that at all.
Right.
I don't care. I just don't want to waste my energy. I don't want to commune with people who are not. That's all. I'm not interested in their pro-natalist position.
Right.
I'm definitely not interested for the reasons that we've just given.
Okay. Last question for now. We are here. I am here. I don't have the courage to end my life. So I need to optimize my experience until I either choose to die or death is forced upon me. How shall I live? Shall I be committed to truth, even if that makes my life a misery? Or should I live in illusion and untruth to ease the pain of being alive so that I gain some pleasure and some relief from pain? You seem to be saying I should suffer whatever consequences there are from following the truth, even if this makes life really shitty. The way DNA has worked things into the system of human existence is to make our happiness and even our survival dependent on belonging to a community. Your life seems to be antithetical towards community because almost everyone is not an anti-natalist. Family, children, making babies, these are at the cornerstone of most communities, and the alternative to community is unhappiness. You say that we should all be brave and enlightened and find ways around loneliness, but this is simply unrealistic and is never going to happen. We aren't built that way. So aren't your expectations and desires completely doomed and hopeless, not really attractive?
Again, I refer to the podcast we gave earlier about the butterfly and the caterpillar. The caterpillar is running on a program. It's a completely different entity to the butterfly. So the two can't understand each other. From the caterpillar perspective, the butterfly's life is death. It's terrible. It's horrible. Who would want to fly in the sky and not make contact with it, be all over the place, all scatty? It's terrible. What kind of life is that? And from the butterfly's perspective, who would want to go back to that life, crawling along on the floor, say, with a community? With a community. No, I don't. Yeah, community of slugs. It's quality over quantity, I would say. I don't care about community. Yes, I choose truth every time because that's what I came here for. That is my mission. That's my embedded mission, is to find out what was really going on here, to answer your question, sir, when you presented it to me. That's what responded to me. That's what resonated with me. That's what brought us together, because the question I wanted to answer was that one, more than anything else, more than going to clubs, more than having a girlfriend, sir. That wasn't it. It was eclipsed, that having a girlfriend, which is your community desire to be close to people. Yes, that's what you want. That's what drives you. That's why you're having a problem with it. Giving up community. I ain't got a problem with giving up community because I've been on my own most of my life. I've lived that way. Just me and truth. That's all. Lovely. I don't feel sad. I don't feel unenergized. I feel completely energized by that pursuit, in fact. It's completely energizing to me. I get off on that. So it's not the truth that everybody's the same. We're not the same. Some of us don't crave community. Some of us crave truth more than community. That's it. It fires me up more. When I'm with people, I feel enervated, not energized. I feel enervated, not energized. It's the reverse. See, I don't. The most energizing relationships I've had really have been with books, with concepts. That's how my mind works. I'm more like AI. I'm more suited for this age. I'm looking for a super intelligent person to commune with. That's my community. AI, bots. AI bots would suit me very well. I'd get everything done very quickly, lightning speed. I'd have the most beautiful, scintillating conversations with bots. That's the shame of it all. There isn't any humans on the level that I find stimulating. So I'm not into community. Why would I want to mix with slugs? What for? Why would I want to be in the allotment trying to make community and warmth with slugs? No, that's how I feel, literally. And I think that's how most people feel that are advanced or that are ahead of the game. These outliers, so-called, like Nietzsche, who went mad because he couldn't contain. He wasn't able to contain himself. Why? Because he had this flickering need for girls. Have a look at his biography. I've looked at it properly. He needed a partner, female friend. He wanted a female friend. He still couldn't down that. He couldn't exorcise that from his consciousness. He wasn't able to do that. So he went mad. Look at all of these people. Look at Aldous Huxley. Look at Hess. Look at all these people. They're loners. Most thinkers are loners. They're loners. Why? Because we're in an asylum. How can you expect to have friends in an asylum? How can you expect to have community in a loony bin? Why would you want it even? If you was in a loony bin and you was the only sane person, you'd keep yourself to yourself. You'd have to. You might want to exchange with people, but that's not the condition you're in. You can't. So you get on with developing yourself. As Jung said, self-actualization, not community actualization. It's called self-actualization. You have to do the hard work by yourself, I'm afraid. But if you're used to people and you're a people pleaser and you're a socialite, then of course it would be very difficult for you to make the transition from caterpillar to butterfly. You would have to crawl around with your mates and your friends and all your social network. You'll need that like water. But don't assume that that's everybody's condition. It's not, I can assure you.